tell you what I'm talking about, baby.
Lads, lasses, people with glasses, and of course, all of those in between. My name, in case you didn't already know, is Dexter, and today I'm wanting to do a little bit of a public service announcement, just highlighting what I consider to be a potentially very dangerous product for the sport of paintball, and I suppose I'm just going to get into it. The guys over at Urban Paintball UK have recently done some product testing on a paintball mask called the FMA F1. This has gone up for sale on an online auction site, a very, very popular online auction site. If you decide to track it down yourself, you should be able to get the hint from that. However, I would highly suggest against it. If you're interested though, this is retailing for under £40, so that is probably less than $40. Now you'll be able to see this from the information that I've got on the screen here, but if you, just in case you want, listen to this in the background. The gun that they used for the product testing was an FT12, the Tippmann FT12, chronographed at 280 feet per second using GI Dark Sport. I think it's GI Dark Sport. In case you're not familiar, the UK legal limit for paintball is I believe 320 feet per second. That is like, once it goes over that, then you're starting to get into the territory of it being potentially illegal. However, the tournaments usually chronographed around about 300 feet per second, and recreational paintball is generally 280 feet per second. So this is well below the general safety standards. However, I believe paintball masks are actually chronographed, are actually tested to well over 400 feet per second. So, you know, when you're buying a proper paintball mask, they are chronographed to well over 400 feet per second, meaning they are, you know, they're pretty much, you know, safe. They are very well tested. That's why you should always use the appropriate eye protection, as I've mentioned in my previous videos. So, now we're moving on to the pictures here. I'll just find them on my computer. So, as you can see from this from the first picture, which is the packaging, just so I've got a point of reference for myself, the FMA F1 comes in a box that is very reminiscent of the Dye i4s. The box, you know, if you were to put them side by side, you didn't actually read the writing, you could probably easily mistake them. Now, moving on to the actual mask itself. The mask itself it's almost identical to the Dye i4s. You know, you could put these side by side on the table, and unless you were actually looking carefully and you knew what you were looking for, you'd probably make the mistake. It would be very easy to mistake which one was which. You know, without actually looking for identifiers such as the Dye logos. So moving on. A picture here of what comes with the package, with the product. Obviously, you've got the mask itself. I'm not sure if all of them will come with a smoked lens, but there you go. And obviously, they come with the mask bag as well. Yet again, very similar to what comes with the Dye i4s from when I bought mine. Inside of the mask, yet again, looks very reminiscent. Except for the strap is a plain strap, you know, and the ears appear to be just standard plain ears. You go on there to another side shot, yet again just showing off the mask more. Soft ears on the side, very reminiscent of the Dye i4s, as I've said before, but just plain. And moving on here to, I would say, where they had them in the test area. And there we go, that is the first shot. Now, I didn't mention it before, but I believe they said that they fired 10 shots at this. 10 shots chronographed at 280 feet per second, and the lens popped out. Now, apparently the guys from Urban said that they did make sure that the lens was in there securely. It wasn't, no, like, they didn't have the lens sitting out or anything in the first place. Everything was all checked there. They made sure that the mask was all set up correctly before they did the testing, but yet the lens still popped out. And you can see there an even better picture few shots to the lens and the lens has popped out the frame. That should not be happening. If you don't know what you're looking at, if you've just stumbled across this video, that should not be happening. I had on one of my previous YouTube channels, I did a stress test with a set of V-Force grills. There was about 4 of us shooting at this mask at point blank from about less than a meter away, with a good couple of pods each. You know, I would say maybe it's around about, let's just round it up, say about 1,000 shots at point blank, and the mask was pretty much fine. We hosed it off, and the mask was still in reasonably good condition. This should not be happening. This is not safe for paintball. A shot of the ears, went through. That could be a ruptured eardrum there. Paint on the inside. Now, obviously, you know, once the lens is popped out, paint's getting in there pretty easily. Hosed it off, and you can actually see there where the lens is popped out. As I said, this should not be happening. And that's the most worrying out of the whole lot. That was 10 shots to the mask. Not all to the lens, just 10 shots to the mask. And one of them has fractured the lens. It fired from a marker at 280 feet per second, and a shot has fractured the lens. You know, the fact that somebody unsuspectingly could buy this off eBay. Well, sorry, oops, I said that off. That somebody could potentially buy this off an online auction site and be wearing this in a game zone. That really worries me, because, you know, for all intents and purposes, you know, that could easily end up on a field, because unless a ref is genuinely looking closely, they might not notice that isn't a dye mask. If this turned up to a rental site, which, as I know, a lot of corporate rental sites are run by people that don't actually play paintball themselves, so they won't know what they're looking for. Well, they won't actually know what they're looking for. This could end up on a field, and somebody could lose their vision because of something like this. If you stumble across this mask, I would actually encourage people to report this if you stumble across somebody selling an FMA F1 mask. Moving on, and you can see another picture there of the cracked lens. This just shouldn't be happening. I know that there's other guys going to be doing stress tests. If I come across those, I will link those on my outro screen. Once they do them, I do know of another stress test that some guys did. I believe it was in China, maybe in Japan. They did it with airsoft, and I believe they chronographed their airsoft gun to 180 feet per second, and it is surprising the damage that it did, considering a lot of airsoft guns can chronograph up to 500 feet per second, and some actually play with them at that velocity. Please stay clear of this mask. I would just avoid it at all costs. So I don't think there's anything more I can say to that. Please go visit the guys at Urban Paintball UK. You can find them on Facebook, and I will include a link in the description, just so in case you can't understand my accent. But please go check them out. Go read the comments and stuff. I've spread this around on a few of the other Facebook pages. Check it out, see for yourself, don't just go off my word of it, do a little bit of research, check out the video I'm going to link. In fact, I will put it on the screen as of now until I finish talking. But please, please, do not waste your money on this. Buy a legitimate paintball mask from a legitimate company. Don't buy masks on eBay unless you know what you're looking for. Just avoid it, stay clear, do not touch this with a 10-foot barge pole. Thanks very much for watching. My name is Dexter, and I shall see you next time. Thanks very much for watching my video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. Also, if you enjoyed my content, then click on this screen where I'm about here, you know where I am, and it should take you to my previous video. where you can hopefully go and enjoy more of my previous content. So thanks very much for watching, and hopefully I shall see you next time.